Welcome to Let's Talk Cabling, your gateway to the world of ICT. Get ready to dive deep into knowledge and
Wednesday night, 6 p.m. I did it again. Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know that can only mean one thing. Live after hours with Chuck Bowser, RCDD, your favorite RCDD. Go ahead and just be honest with you now. Just say, yes, Chuck, you're my favorite RCDD. Go ahead and say it. Julian's in the house. Hey, Julian. You weren't in my class today, were you? Because I had like 2 Julians in my class today. Just kind of weird that name showed up again for a third time. So welcome to Live After Hours. Tonight's a kind of a special show. I am not doing Q&As tonight. No, not doing Q&As tonight. I'm doing a show on 9 important traits of project management. So if you want to become a project manager and you want to become a project manager, there's 9 traits you want to work on. If you are a project manager now and you want to be the best of the best project manager, then I've got tonight's show for you. So turn it down just a tiny little bit there. Had a little way too loud. So yeah, project management is the thing today. So that's what we're going to be talking about. But before we get too much further along, you know I start off every single Wednesday night live stream with, what are you drinking? Tonight, Chuck is drinking Cola Zevia. Cola Zevia, because you know Zevia is the drink of choice for Chuck because it's a zero sweetener, zero coloring, zero caffeine, zero blah 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 blah. I just like it because I'm really weird. You're probably gonna think I'm weird. So when I pour my drink into my cup, right? And so I pour in about that much Zevia. Well, I fill it with ice. Put in that much Zevia, and then the rest is water, and I mix it. I like my sodas with not too much fizz. Not too much fizz. And hey, did you know that Chuck has Chuck, the Let's Talk Cabling podcast has, get this, challenge coins. Yes, challenge coins. Yes, on the back, knowledge is power. I got 25 of them, all individually numbered. So keep an eye out for those, man. Keep an eye out for those. I got an opportunity for people to get some here shortly. But yeah, oh, hey, did you catch the episode this week? Did you catch the episode this week? Yes or no? Tell me. Let me know. This is why I'm wearing my TKW shirt today, not wearing a Let's Talk Cabling shirt, because Jesus is in the house. Hello, Jesus. And here's why I'm wearing this shirt, because of that episode. And the thing is, text giving is happening in October 17th, something like that. 18th. They're coming together and they're doing putting in a voice and data security access control system for the Sojourner House in Providence, Rhode Island, and they're looking for people, volunteers, to volunteer their skills, their expertise to come help them do this. The Sojourner House is a house for battered women and stuff, and great mission. And so a lot of people come together to try to do this. It's going to be a lot of great people that are doing it. They need people who can pull cable. They need people who know how to terminate cable, test cable, anything. Even if you don't know how to, why don't you just show up and maybe help them? Because it's for a great cause. Great cause. So tonight's acronym challenge. Acronym challenge for tonight. PMI. PMI. That's the acronym challenge for tonight. Put in the chat box if you know what it means. PMI. Well, I'll give you a few seconds to do that while I take a sip of my Cola Zevia. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Yes. So nobody's going to even try to guess that, huh? PMI. Project Management Institute. Yes. Daryl, the RCDD. Yes. He got it. You know, Daryl, if I make it back to DC, you and I got to meet up for coffee or something, man. We just do. We just do. So, yes, Project Management Institute. Here's a trivia question for you. Put the answer in the chat box. What year was Project Management Institute created? What year was Project Management Institute created? Put your guess in the chat box. I had to look it up today. I did a post of my Lunchbox Learnables on LinkedIn. I do it every Wednesday at noon. And so I did a Lunchbox Learnable about the work breakdown structure. What is it? Why is it important? All that kind of fun stuff. And Bowman Vision Media was kind of harassing me, and he said, "Oh, you're not using PMI terms, Chuck?" Well, I was using work breakdown structure before I even knew about PMI, but so I went and looked it up. I went and looked it up. 1969. Yes, Kaylin, you got it, my friend. Did you look it up? Did you look it up? 1969. So they've been around for a while. So tonight's show is, like I said, it's about leveling up. It's about building your skill set to become a great project manager, to improve your skills as a project manager, whatever it might take. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been on a job site where everything just seemed to click? The materials showed up on time. The crews were synced. They knew what they were doing. And maybe even the client smiled during the walkthrough. Chances are that if that did happen, you had a great project manager behind the scenes making all that happen. But here's the real question. Could that project manager be you? Yes, it can be you, right? Whether you're just pulling cable in the ceiling or just running crews on a hospital build out, or even if you're just thought, hey, I could run this job better, then you're in the right place for tonight's show. Like I said, I'm going to go through 9 traits to help you become a great project manager, or to make you become a good project manager if you're coming out of the field, right? We're going to go through step by step on these 9 traits. I'm even going to give you 9 resources. 9. I put some thought into tonight's show for you. That's why I'm not doing the usual Q&A. So I got even 9 resources for you, because you know what? I want you to be the best project manager there can be. I want you to be, I want you to be able to do the project, have the project come in on time, on budget, and customer happy, because it's just what I want to happen for you. Right, so grab your notepad. Geez, keep up. This is gonna be a lightning fast thing, because I have a feeling I'm not gonna be able to get this done in 30 minutes, but we'll just figure it out as we go. So, all right. So the first skill set is leadership qualities and skills. Leadership quality and skills. So I've got 5 things here for you. Right. Number 1. Lead by example. Lead by example. Be the first one on the job site. Be the last one to leave the job site, and be willing to do the hard tasks first, right? I did a project in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 2 decades ago, for MCI WorldCom, and we were doing some cables and some cable tray that was up really high. I mean, really high, like 22, 23 feet. And I was the first one on the scissor lift to get up there to do it. I didn't stay up there the whole entire time, because that's what I have crews for, but I was the first one to do it. So that way they saw, hey, Chuck is willing to go above and beyond, right? So another thing too is learn how to make decisions under pressure and stand by them. And one of the ways that you can kind of help with that is think about all the risks ahead of time. That's going to help you, because sometimes it's really hard to kind of make these decisions and make the right decision, because a lot of people get caught in, what's that term called? Analysis paralysis. And well, they will just analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze and analyze and never execute. Never execute. Right? So there you go. I'm in that situation right now. I have to drive to a job and see what's ready before I even get to splicing. Exactly. So it tells me you already got the skill sets. And also learn how to, another one for leadership, learn how to motivate your crew with clarity and positivity. See, a lot of people, they manage out of fear. Hey, you got to do it, I'm going to fire you. You know, that wouldn't motivate me at all. Not at all. Because you know what? I would quit in a heartbeat. Quit in a heartbeat. I don't stand for that kind of crap. I just don't. Never have. But you know what does motivate me? Give me a situation, let me figure out how to solve it, and let me run with it, right? So, yeah, so learn how to make those decisions under pressure, stand by them, give the crew that clarity, give them the, I know we work in the communications industry, but communicate with them, let them kind of know what is the goal, and make sure, we're really good at telling technicians, you suck, you did this wrong. How about making a concerted effort to have at least 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction with a crew, right? We'll also learn how to delegate without dumping responsibility. As a project manager, you will seem. I just got a message yesterday. I don't want to say who the name of the guy is because I don't have his permission to use his name. But he DM'd me on Facebook asking me about the situation he's in. He's a project manager and he's feeling like he's being dumped on, right? So learn how to delegate. Learn who you can delegate it to. Learn, because you might not want to delegate the fiber portion of something to a guy who's never done fiber before, right? And then also, and this is probably the biggest one as all, give credit when credit is due, and coach through the mistakes. Okay, coach through the mistakes. I consider one of my mentors. When I first started working for him, he wasn't like that. You made a mistake. I mean, a vein would literally pop out in his forehead, and he would lash you. He got better. He became one of the people who I consider as a mentor, although he doesn't know it. Um, but coach through those mistakes. People are more receptive to change if they if they if you coach them through it instead of you get wrong. You want some more information on great leadership under pressure? Look up the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. That's if you want more learn about leadership. Next one, organizational skills. Our industry is horrible at promoting project managers from the field who are good at pulling cable, terminating cable, testing cable, making a customer happy, but they suck at organizational skills. Right? Hey, I'm one of them. I am absolutely one of them. Matter of fact, here's my organizational skills right here. Boom, right here in this book. So in this book, I've got all the stuff I need to do, all the interviews I got set up for the podcast, all the advertisers times I got. By the way, if you want to advertise on the podcast, get in touch with me. Advertising on the show, even my day job stuff's in here too. So if I'm scheduling classes and stuff, did I book the hotel room? Did I book the flight? Just learn how to be organized. Of course, I'm a late boomer, but you know what? I know there's ways you can do it online, but sometimes I just like to be able to sit on the couch with my wife, have the computer put away, and I can still do it on this and not be staring at a screen. So there are calendar apps, and my wife and I do use a calendar because we balance my day job, my classes and my travel, the podcast interviews and travel, her job and travels, and farm life. So we've got lots of different stuff going on. So we got to kind of go through, and it's on Google Calendar, and we have to kind of go through that when we want to make arrangements and stuff. But there are other ones out there, right? So keep a punch list and update it daily. I mentioned I've got that documentation, the thing for his classes. Let me see if I can't find it real quick. So I can easily take a glance at it, and I can tell you just by looking at it. Okay. Looking at it, okay, exactly what process. Here it is right here. There it is, see? So I can easily take a quick look at that and say, okay, I have booked the car. I have booked the overnight rooms. I've reached out to do contracts for the rooms, but they haven't been solidified yet. All at a glance. Right? So make sure that you label everything. Question, what would happen if you stood in a particle accelerator with an opposing object? Yeah. What's that have to do with low voltage cabling and project management? Nothing. So I have no idea. Maintain clear and logical layout documentation, and make sure that you do all your paperwork. Project managers are horrible at doing their paperwork. And that includes, requests for information, submittals, as-builts, stuff that, has to be done, and has to be done to close out that project. And you don't have to wait to the end of the project to do that. You don't. You don't. Matter of fact, there's a lot of great, there's another resource for you. Great Google Sheet templates for daily logs and job tracking. And I think in an episode not too many episodes ago, I actually showed you the green construction logbook. So that's a good one too. Number 3, the ability to assume authority, right? Learn how to speak confidently and walkthroughs. You don't want to be the bull in the room, but you don't want to be the weak one in the room either. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, and also just learn to be respectful when you do it, right? And learn to when to say no. Hey, what's happening, Mister? Who is? I don't have my glasses on. Oh, hey, what's going on, brother man? Learn to speak confidently in meetings and walkthroughs. Learn how to make decisions when needed. Again, we talked about that earlier. Analysis paralysis. It's, sometimes just buckle up, buttercup, make a decision and go with it. Even if it's not the right decision or it may not be perfect, right? It's better to make a decision than to stop the momentum on a project, right? Know your scope inside and out. And so to the point where you can defend it or even challenge it with change orders, because customers are going to say, yeah, but that's in the scope of work. If you haven't read your scope of work, how are you going to be able to challenge it? No, that's a change order, right? So know it inside out, forwards and backwards. And as a project manager, I'm going to tell you right now, you rarely, Nolan could probably attest to this, rarely will you ever be project managing one project at a time. Usually it's going to be 3, 4, 5 projects, right? He's working late tonight, just took down a network with a WAN IP change, waiting for it to come back online. Gotcha. So you're hanging out with us tonight, right, Nolan? Good job. Also, learn to step in when others hesitate. That's an opportunity, even if you've never done it before. It's an opportunity to learn a new skill, to do something. And here's probably the best one for assuming authority is a project management skill. Learn to back up your team in front of a customer, right? In front of your customer, right? Multiple projects at the same time, always. Exactly right. Exactly right. Even if they're doing something wrong, you still back up your team. Coach them later. Coach them afterwards. Some great resources here. Bixie's PM 102 course. It teaches the decision making and team authority in the ICT project. So look them up. Bullet number 4, the ability to focus on key issues. I suffer at this. I've got ADHD like a big dog. Big dog. Sometimes I have a hard time focusing. I truly do. So learn how to prioritize your fire drills, right? And how they affect your schedule, right? That's going to be key one too. So your team is your responsibility. You own all of their mistakes. Exactly right, Nolan. Why not call you Nelson? There you go. Learn how to ignore distractions and even minor complaints. Everybody knows, if you've ever seen me, I've got a pair of Shocks headphones, and I usually have them on, and I'll have them on, and I'll be out there working. I will be jamming out the music while I'm working because I'm tuning out everything around me. That's one of the ways I kind of do that. It helps me do that, right? You may want to use, but it's not just you. You got to worry about your team, right? You got to help them make sure they have the ability to focus too. So maybe do daily huddles with them and help them reset their focus. You can with today's environment, you can do virtual meetings. You don't have to go out to the project site every day. You should, but if you're a project manager running 3, 4, 5 projects, do you really have the time to go to every project once a day? No. So at least try to go every project once a week. And then, simple phone call, right? And then learn how to track goals versus what is busy work. Is this actually moving the project forward? Or are we just doing this busy work because the painters are in the telecom room and we can't do anything in there yet, right? Yeah, there you go. A good resource for this is called the Eisenhower Matrix, right? There's an app for it. It's better. It's a great way for identifying what is urgent and what is important. So look it up, the Eisenhower Matrix. Number five, client relation skills. Alrighty, so clients, customers, probably the biggest thing I could tell you. Set the expectation early and follow through. Okay, give them what your goal is, but make sure you give them a goal that you're going to be able to achieve. I always like, I don't remember where I heard this, but under promise and over deliver, right? So if you think you're going to be done by Wednesday, say yeah, we'll be done by Friday. That way, you kind of still set that expectation, and when you finish early, that just makes you the hero in the customer's eyes, doesn't it? Also, in client relation skills, and our industry's horrible at this. Communicate clearly without using jargon. Oh, that's us. With our acronyms, we will people will look down on you in this industry if you don't use the right acronym. And we have acronyms that have multiple definitions and multiple meanings and have been changed several times. If the customer wants to call their telecom room an IDF, then you call it an IDF. You know what a TR is. Why make the customer? Some customers, you tell them, yes, that's not an IDF, that's a TR. You can really good for running problems with that, right? So also learn about documenting verbal approvals or getting changes in writing. It's called a confirming email. Whenever you have a conversation with a customer, then they're changing anything. Get back to the office. Often acronym shaming. Why? Exactly right. So when you get back to the office, make sure you send them an email, right? Make sure you send them an email. Dear customer, per our walkthrough on the job site today, I want to confirm that I have my understanding correctly. Document it. Confirming email. Ask for a response. Ask for a response. Okay, that's gonna be a key thing. And then also, when you run into projects on a job site, and you will run into projects on a job site, keeping the customer current on that stuff. Don't just go to them, yeah, well, we got a problem. We got a problem. Bring them a solution too. Bring them a solution. Don't go to them until you have the solution figured out. Never blindside a client ever. Okay. Good resource for you. Go to LinkedIn Learning. Look up client communications for project managers. LinkedIn Learning, client communications for project managers. Change order should always have a reference number, date, and time with supporting evidence. Absolutely. 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 Number 6. We're going to go on faster than I thought I would. Alrighty. Communication skills. Learn to be clear, learn to be brief, and be direct in your emails and your daily logs. I do this with my boss. Like, for example, I just shot him I know he's on vacation this week, but I shot him a message because I know he checks his emails even on vacation. And I shot him a message and knew he was going to need some explaining. But so what I did was the very first sentence in the email was the ask. And then I gave him a paragraph or two behind that. So that way he can read it, understand what it's about. If he wanted to go see the additional information, then it was there for him. So that we didn't have to reach out and ask him maybe even potential to slow things down. Okay. And then also with communication skills, and I'm bad at this. Let me know if you're bad at this too. Tell me in the chat box if you're horrible at this, right? Learn to listen more than you speak. If you're speaking, you can't be listening. You can and listen to hear. That's actually good marriage advice too, right? If your wife is speaking, learn to listen for that, right? Anthony, thank you for answering my Facebook question on Friday. It was much appreciated. My pleasure. My pleasure. And then also use pictures to explain complex issues, right? That's why we have drawings, right? Drawings help you look at them because sometimes it's easier and faster to pick up on a complex subject if it's in a drawing or visual form, right? So a good resource here for you is a book called Crucial Conversations. Crucial Conversations by Carrie Patterson. Good resource for you on that one. Number 7, flexibility. As a project manager, you better be flexible. You better learn how to adjust your manpower or your timeline based on the general contractor updating the schedules. Because trust me, they will update their schedule, right? So how are you going to be able to do that? How are you going to be able to shift from working on the 3rd floor to the 5th floor or the east side to the west side? How's it going to be? Again, this goes with your thinking ahead of all the potential things that go wrong. If you think about it in advance, there's a better chance that you'll be able to shift and move so your project doesn't get affected. Also, be ready for material substitutions. As an estimator and a project manager, I'm telling you, every project has material substitutions and design tweaks. So, as a project manager, just be willing and ready for that. And a good company is going to have a kickoff meeting between the estimator and the project manager as they go through, right? So also learn how to step into roles outside your job description. We get we get so wrapped up in our titles. I'm a project manager. I don't do whatever. You know what? When I was a project manager, it wasn't unusual for me to pick up a broom and sweep a floor. It wasn't unusual for me to go out and help the guys terminate jacks. Okay? But there's a balance there. It's okay to do that stuff, but not to the point to where it's going to delay the expectations and the functions of your job as a project manager. All right? So just make sure that you do that. Also, stay calm during inspections, right? So QA inspectors, right? Cable guys in the house. There we go. QA inspectors, they're going to come out, they're going to look at your job. Just remember, it is their job to find things wrong, and they will find things wrong. And that's okay. Just learn, use it as a learning process. Learn how to pivot. Pivot. That's kind of weird. My wife and I are binge watching right now. We want to do the Great Loop. It's a 6,000-mile journey on a boat that goes up the East Coast through the Great Lakes, down the Mississippi River, and then around Panhandle of Florida. It's on our bucket list, something we want to do. And we're following a channel right now, and the name of the boat is called The Pivot. Yes, because they learn to be adaptable. What was it? That movie with what was that movie with Clint Eastwood? No, was it? Yeah, Clint Eastwood. No, 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 no. No, no, he was a Marine. What the heck was it? Adapt, overcome. When he was a Marine, adapt and overcome. Be ready because things are going to happen. People are going to call in sick. People are going to quit. Material shortages. General contractors moving schedules around. Other trades getting in your way. Your boss dropping you another project on you. You know, just learn how to keep focus on that. Okay. All right. So a good resource here is Procore's Field Productivity Module. There's actually a free demo available if you're actually interested in that. Just do a Google search on it, you find it. Number 8, personal accountability. I love this one. Personal accountability as a project manager. Own your own mistakes and learn from them. Okay? Don't never become that project manager who makes a mistake and they try to sweep it underneath the rug and hope nobody sees it. If you make a mistake, that was me. I made that mistake. Okay? Because people will lose respect for you as a project manager if you deny and try to cover up stuff. Just everybody makes mistakes. Everybody. Do you know how to tell if somebody makes a mistake in the low voltage industry? They get up in the morning. That's everybody makes mistakes, right? So just learn from them and move on. Don't let them drag you down. Don't oh my God, it's my fault, this, that, and the other. Okay, it was a mistake. Here's the best way to fix it, and then move on. That's the best thing is personal accountability as a project manager. Show up prepared and expect the same from your team. You can't expect your team to show up on time with the tools that they're supposed to have, with a good attitude, if you're not doing that yourself as a project manager. Okay? I am sorry. You got to lead by example. Never blame the crew. Never blame the general contractor. I guess especially when it's your mistake. Just kind of figure out when you do it. So just be willing to admit when you're wrong and learn how to correct it fast. And keep your promises. This is a bad one for me. I tend to overpromise sometimes. I just do. I got so much on my plate, and somebody reach out to me and say, "Hey Chuck, can you do a show on such and such?" That's a great idea. Yes. And then I save it somewhere, and then I forget. Keep your promises. If you say you're going to get it done and follow through. Okay? It's just, if you start doing that, you will gain respect as a project manager. Okay? So a good resource here is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen Covey. Go ahead and read that one too. And the 9th and final bullet for tonight, interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills, right? Get to know your crew personally. It builds loyalty. It builds loyalty because you could have two technicians working for you. One might be motivated by money, another one might be motivated by title, right? One might be single and going out every weekend and partying. The other one might be a family person. Everybody's get to know them, get to understand what's going on in their lives because you know what? I know people say to always separate your personal life from your business life, but you know what? I don't know anybody can do that. I just don't. As a project manager, learn that if you don't know that that person has a brand new baby and they're colicky and they're not getting any sleep and they come in with bags under their eyes and they're dragging and they're making mistakes because they only had 2 hours of sleep last night. Are you going to go fire them because you don't know that they've got a colicky baby at home that's 2 weeks old? Because you don't know your people. Know your people. Learn how to read the room, okay? Especially during tense meetings. There's a lot of great resources here. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there on how to read body language, and also there's a podcast called "Coaching for Leaders" by Dave. I know I'm going to mess his name up. Stachowik, Stachowwiak, Stachowik. Great resource for you, right? Learn how to read that room. Learn body language. Learn how to handle conflict calmly and without your ego. Your ego has no place in a meeting room as a project manager but for the grace of God, there goes you. Because you know what? I guarantee you probably have or probably will at some point have made the same mistake. Just learn them. Dad always used to say, the best lesson learned is the one you learn from somebody else's mistakes. So learn how to handle that conflict and encourage. Here's what I'm looking for you. Encourage a culture of respect and collaboration. Okay, if your crew will be willing to go above and beyond for you, if you treat them like human beings, if you treat them like people, if you treat them as a number, as a resource, trust me, that's only going to go so far. That's only going to go so far. You need to understand that your greatest asset as a project manager is the crews that are working for you. And you better treat them as such. Treat them as such, right? The smartest person in the room is the one who listens and holds their speech. Yes, absolutely, Matthew. I just said that earlier, just a few minutes ago. Learn how to listen more than you talk, actually. And here is probably the best piece of advice I could give you as a project manager. It's going to serve you the best. It's going to help you build those relationships with the customer, with the GC, with your crews, with distribution, with your boss. You ready for this? Get your pen and piece of paper. Learn to say thank you and say it often. Learn to say thank you and say it often. Okay? I'm just telling you, it's just going to tell people that, you know what, this guy is authentic. And they just it makes them want to help you with your goals. So there you go. So we covered the 9 core traits that you need as a project manager. Which one are you the strongest at? Tell me in the chat box. We got an extra minute or two here. Which one are you the strongest at? And which one do you say you need the most work? Because you know what? Project managers, they're made. They're not born. I don't know anybody. The funny thing is, I've raised 6 kids. I never recall at Halloween time seeing Halloween costumes for low voltage project managers. Right? We are made, not born. Right? And so you need to start acting like a project manager before you become a project manager. Okay. Also, make sure that you start small. Learn how to team. You don't have to wait to become a project manager to practice some of these skills that we talked about today. Learn how to do a team huddle. Learn how to coordinate deliveries. Learn how to handle a schedule. What does the schedule look like? One small piece at a time. It's like I tell people all the time, if you know me, I've got a hobby farm. And at any given point, we have ducks, chickens, geese, goats, pigs, aquaponics, garden beds. I didn't learn all that stuff overnight. We just picked one skill at a time and worked our way there. So same thing with project management. First, again, use these 9 traits that I went through. Use the 9 resources that I gave you and just make a timeline on how to. You know what I'll do in the show notes on when this gets posted to YouTube. I will put a checklist for this, and you can go and you can download that checklist. There you go. There are some great resources out there for you. Bixie has some great project the project management methodology book. I've got that. Also, they've got classes as well. The podcast and the books I listed above, and then also if you know somebody who's a project manager or a program manager right now, and they are knocking it out of the ballpark, why don't you ask them to mentor you? Why don't you ask them to mentor you? Right? Mentor. I love the mentoring model. I truly do. It helps both the mentor and the mentee. Right? So here's my call to action for you. If you hung around for this far, right? Share this episode with somebody who you think wants to become a project manager. Share this episode with a project manager who wants to become a better project manager. And also, there's a lot of great resources out there. I know that I haven't covered all of them, so make sure you either comment a resource that you use for project management or leadership, or maybe even DM it to me, and then let's keep this project management conversation going. Right. So make sure that you subscribe and level up and stuff like that. So there we go. Let's flip over to the comments. There's a good training for project managers. I know LinkedIn Learning has, and Google was wondering my thoughts. I have not. I can't give you my thoughts on because I haven't taken it. Um, one is the next class for the RCDD. I'm working on some new stuff for the RCD program where I'm going to be doing modules and stuff like that. Chuck, have you ever done virtual meetings for project management help and resources? Ooh, I'm taking a screen snapshot of that. That's a great idea, Anthony. Great idea. I'm going to put some thought into that and maybe get that done. So there you go, everybody. That concludes tonight's live stream for Wednesday night. I hope you enjoyed it. So remember, until next time, knowledge is power.